Hi everyone, this is Sam Craft Heart, and I am back with a couple of fun projects. We're going to do some coloring today. I am going to show you a little bit about masking, but not really, because I didn't set it up very well. But let's talk about the products I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to be using the Not Too Shabby Shop Coffee and Books. And I'm trying to be creative with my paper pads because I have a lot and I don't really use as much paper for some reason as I think I'm going to use. I'm also going to be using this greeting farm called Miss Anya Birthday. We're going to be using this in our coloring today. For my masking card, I've got the Stamp and Die of the Month for, I forget what month it was, maybe a couple months ago. And the dies are already in here. This one is called Party Animals. And I'm going to use this as well. So for my card, so what I did was I did some ink blending, but first I did some masking. And so I used masking paper. I happen to use masking paper from Altenew, which I had a bunch of it from some past thing that I went to. So what you would do is you would do your stamping first and then you would ink blend. So I would stamp my whatever image I want to be in the front goes first, and then you would stamp your stamp again on masking paper and cut it out and put it on top. And then you would do your other images, and as you do them you would then cover them with the mask. Okay, so once you've got everything stamped and masked, that is when you do your ink blending. If you're going to do any sort of ink blending, you're going to go ahead and do it once everything is covered with the masking paper. Okay, then you peel everything off and you color in your images. And so I colored in my images with Copics. Before I did that though, I did do some splatter with some silver watercolor splatter. Okay, and then I colored. So now the last things that we're going to do is we're going to finish off this card. We're going to stamp, and so I actually need to grab my ink really quickly because I forgot to bring that with me. We're going to stamp, and then I'm going to do a little inside feature. Use my favorite things. Knocking things down. My VersaFine Clear. So we're going to just stamp and let's party. So that includes the inking for this one. And so I'm going to attach this to the front, and then we're going to do the inside with a very easy pop-up feature. Okay, I'm going to show you guys a very easy pop-up feature. I've got all my things here. I'm going to put all that away. So I've been trying to do a better job at putting things away, like make my video, put everything I used away, be a little neater if possible, because it got out of control in here, I'm telling you. I think this is Trinity Stamps border, slimline. So I think it is. Alright, get some good glue on here. Okay, so for the inside, I've got a piece of cardstock that measures about 5 inches, and then I scored it at 1 inch, 1 inch, 2 inches, and 3 inches, and so it makes like a square, I guess. So for the inside of the card, I'm going to glue one of the squares down, Actually, it's the wrong way. It's kind of square this way. I don't remember how to do this. Okay, the end square gets glued down. Sorry, it's been a while since I did this one. Oh, okay. Okay, and then this one, so I remember like this. Okay, so then we put glue at the other end, and close it. And now we have a pop-up. So on the pop-up, I'm going to okay, it's gonna stick out a little bit, but that's okay. So we have this like this. I probably should use a smaller one, but it's okay. And then pops up like this. So, all right. So now we'll move on to our next card. So the next card, we're going to go ahead and we are going to color this image. I've got my Copics. So for the hair, I'm going to be using E27, E25, and E23. So I'm starting with the darkest color. People do it different ways. I prefer to start with the darkest one. I don't know, I just like it. And I just do kind of flicks in the best that I can. And I kind of do similar hair. I don't really change it up too much. But I just kind of do my little flicks and kind of just pull the color. Alright, and that's what it looks like the first go round. So then I take my mid color, which in this case is the E25, and I just kind of go over and in between where I flicked. And it's kind of how I do it. And let's see a bit here. All right, now I'm going to go with my lightest color, which is the E23, and just do a little bit All right, now I'm going to go with my darkest color again, and I'm just going to kind of do just in a few places that I imagine the hair might be a little bit darker. Okay, and that's the hair. So now we're going to move on, and I'm going to do her clothes, and I think I'm going to do her clothes in this blue. And so just kind of doing little bits and pieces, and then that was B37, this is B45, and these are pretty small, you know, images, and I'm going to kind of blend a little bit here. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to do this cupcake. So I've got it's R85. This is R83 and R81. Then for the box, I'm going to do C3 and C1. And then the C1. Kind of. Now for her boots, I'm going to go with C5. And C3. Nothing too crazy. And now I'm going to do her skin. And this time for skin today, I'm only doing 2 colors. I'm doing E13 and E00. And these are pretty small images. So now I'm just gonna, oops, the hands, and I'm gonna go ahead and just do this really quick. Okay, and she's all done. Pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and cut her out, which I did not bring my good scissors with me at the table. I'm going to use these big honking ones. At least they're sharp. And we're going to make 2 cards. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. So yeah, that pop-up is a fun one. Super easy. You don't need a special die to do it. Sticking out a little bit out of the bottom, but I might trim it. No biggie. And you can see me do this all on camera. I already had to like stop the video one time because my boyfriend kept interrupting me. But he went to the store, so I have some uninterrupted time to finish this video, and then I'm going to splice it all together because that's just the way I roll. Okay, and okay, and all right, so now I've got my girl. And let's get all the pieces for my cards. Okay, so let's see. This one and this one, this one, and this one. These are going to be 1 card. And then this one, this one. Okay, so I think I'm going to keep it this way. Alright, so let's go ahead and make this card. This one is going to be a super simple card. And so I just used, these were actually leftover pieces from some cards that I had made previously, where I thought I was going to make more cards with this layout, but I ended up not. So I just used my dies to kind of create this layout. I thought I was going to maybe use something else, but I already had these cut and I just wanted a good reason to use them. Okay, so now I've got my little guy right here, and I'm going to use a little bit of foam tape. And a bit of foam tape. Actually, I'm going to need those scissors. So this card is crazy easy. That one, and then put some foam as well. And then this card is done. I probably would put maybe some sequins or something else, but I can do that off camera just to kind of give you an idea of a really super easy like layout. Okay, now for this card right here, we're going to go ahead and I'm using this Books and Coffee paper, and so this one is the layout. So we're going to go ahead and glue this down. And then this one fits right in here. Just to really, you know, I'm just trying to use as much of my, you know, products as I have. Because I have a lot of things. A lot of stamps, and so I think that's part of just trying to like use what we have by being like combining products. Okay. And that's going to go right here. Let's get this off here. Okay. And put some foam on here. Okay. All right, let's show all the cards we made. This one right here, we did our simple coloring. Nothing too fancy. I would probably maybe use my white gel pen to do a little bit of some doodling, but I usually keep a white gel pen up here, but it looks like I don't have one here. But yeah, I do a little doodling on her to kind of, you know, like make her pop a little bit more. And then we have this one right here, which is the super simple layout. And then our pop-up card. All right, thank you so much for watching. This is Cindy Playing with the Hearts.